From Trevor Lawrence to Parker Washington and Jacksonville, strikes first.
Pretty juiced up about the fact that we got 4 running backs who we feel very confident in. Obviously, as you think about what Liam deployed in Tampa Bay, it was a committee approach, and we look forward to bringing that to life here in Jacksonville, and making sure that everybody gets the ops that they deserve in a way that contributes to a successful outcome for us.
Running play with Tootin. Tries to pick his way. Broke a tackle. Got it inside the 5. Kept those legs churning. They're still churning. Toward the goal line. Tootin near the goal line. Touchdown! He carried defenders with him into the end zone for the score.
I think when you have high demands for players and expectations of standards, it can become easier to sift through who makes the most sense moving forward and who makes the most sense for being here. Certainly excited about the group that we got in the moment, but can't say that it was with any intent to get to a certain number or percentage of roster turnover.
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Tom McManus, and Dylan Denmark.
Tony Smith, Tom McManus, Dylan Denmark here with you. Mike Dempsey on assignment here on this Friday. A week from today, Tommy, we'll be getting ready for keys to victory against the Carolina Panthers. We are upon the NFL season. It starts 6 days from today.
Yeah.
A week from yesterday, will be a game.
All I heard in those James Gladstone comments were jacked and juiced.
Jacked and juiced.
I don't know what else he said, but that got my attention.
Yeah, I know. Talking to D-Rock, I'm with you, man. I know talking to D-Rock about Gladstone yesterday, he's like, I'm always excited when he's going to talk because I'm probably going to learn some vocab.
Yeah, right.
At some point, like
some
him
slang.
just going through his thing.
Yep.
You know, when they have their terms.
Yeah.
That they're going with right now, and that's all right. Everyone's got their terms.
Yeah, I'm jacked too. You know, you're excited.
We all should
You're
be.
ready to roll. You know, it's a new season, and we don't know exactly what's going to happen, and that's okay. You know, but we're hoping for the best and get off to a great start against Carolina at home.
Mm-hmm. And we'll find out about that again. We'll have our keys to victory next Friday. We don't have a keys to victory Friday this week.
That's right. Now, are we doing our contest like we do every year, where we're picking winners?
I'm sure we'll do that again this year. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because I was thinking about that this morning. I'm like, man, start next week. I'm going to have to add an extra sheet of paper to all my prep work because I got to have the picks in.
You'll have to do the picks.
Yeah.
We'll see if you get them done before you sit down with this.
I'm going to try.
Tom.
I'm going to try.
I may have to shoot Dempsey a text to let him know that Tom McManus has brought his own headphones. This is a monumental day.
Thank you.
Here on the program, he's brought his own headphones, and all of YouTube, the audience is witness.
Thank you, Delta. Really appreciate it. Other than that, you weren't very kind to me and 2 of my friends last week, but nonetheless, I'll take the headset, and it's perfect because it's just the right connection. Mm-hmm. Remember the time I brought in the rod?
I remember.
I was so excited. I was like, I got my headset. I was like, oh, this is a lightning. This ain't going to work here. And so there that went. So the effort had been there for a while, but
I know.
Now it came to fruition.
Well, yeah. Now you don't have to, pick through whatever leftovers we have in the studio.
Right, and wipe them down with the wipes.
Do the whole
one
thing.
last thing I got to wipe down.
Yeah, you got your whole thing going. Now, obviously, Tommy, the big NFL news we all know. Mm-hmm. It's obvious. It's Micah Parsons being traded from Dallas to Green Bay. Yeah. Parsons, I saw Schefter tweet this out immediately after it happened. I don't know if you saw it too. But Parsons is one of 2 players to have at least 12 sacks in each of his first 4 seasons. Mm-hmm. The other is Reggie White.
Yeah.
And like Reggie, Micah is leaving the team that drafted them. Yep. Reggie, it was Philadelphia. It was free agency. That was when that was just becoming a thing in the National Football League. But Reggie chose to go to Green Bay in free agency, which was kind of a revolutionary thing at the time. It's like free agency. How's this going to work in the NFL?
And his contract, everyone's like, holy cow.
Right.
Like, we got to look that up, like what it was, just to compare it.
I'm sure. It'd be nuts. I know. I'm sure I can find that too. Yeah. But Micah is leaving the team that drafted him for who else? Green Bay. Yeah. Just like Reggie. I don't know.
Bold move.
Like, I don't know if he's going to be on the same. He's on the same early Hall of Fame trajectory that Reggie White was. We'll see what winds up happening with Micah for the next decade or so in the National Football League. But when a player of the caliber of Micah Parsons can pull off what he and his reputation have pulled off over the course of this offseason, we had Myles Garrett threaten it Right? He said, I don't want to play here anymore.
The back injury, man. He missed his window.
He said, I want to go play somewhere where I can win a Super Bowl. Like, he said those words. Like, he's done with Cleveland. I want to go where I can win big in the NFL. It's like, well, unless they're going to pay me big.
Yeah,
became the solution to that one. Well, Micah is on his way to Green Bay, and there's going to be a lot of people over the course of last night into this week getting ready for the season that are going to make the Green Bay Packers among, if not the favorite in the NFC. You know, with Micah switching over to the Green Bay Packers.
Well, they're obviously going to be near the top of the running, you would think. I mean, hey, listen, Jerry, this is a calculated move, Jerry says there, Tone. He's like, we got to stop the run. So let's get rid of our best player and go find somebody else. Now, Kenny Clark's no slouch, but he's not a dominant type force. He had a great year 2 years ago. Last year, just okay. But he's he'll eat up some space and maybe help you stop the run. I don't know. But to let that guy walk out the door, what a shame, what a crime. Happy for the Pack, the Packer fans. Good for you. You want to talk about a generational player? That's a generational player. You just read the stat. Reggie White, generational player. So is Micah Parsons, man. And, man, what a career he's had. And it's a great get for Green Bay. Obviously, though, Tony, it's going to come down to Jordan Love. I mean, it's going to come down to that quarterback. He's had 2 good years. 2 years ago, really good. Last year, not bad, but still pretty good. Josh Jacobs, great running back. They draft a wide receiver in the first round, first time ever in like how many years? You know what I mean? Like 27, 15, something like that. So, yeah, they should be pretty formidable. And now on defense, I mean, the great thing about Mikey, you move him all over. He can play inside backer. He can play inside up on the guard. He can line outside and rush as a 3-4 outside backer. He can do it all, man. That guy's good against the run. He's good against obviously getting to the QB. I mean, 12 sacks a year, 4 in a row, first 4. That's special, man. Yeah. That's special production. And he's only going to get better, getting into the prime of his life. And now the contract, God bless him.
Monkey
God
off the
bless
back,
him, man. Yeah, that's huge.
He doesn't have to think about that anymore.
Never.
He played all last season with the contract looming for him going into the 5th-year option. We didn't know exactly how that was all going to go. It's been kind of a wild offseason in that regard, specifically with him.
Yep.
Right? Like, are they going to get him in the building? What's going to happen with that in Dallas? They got to get it done. I mean, how can they not get it done? It's Micah Parsons, the level of player that he is.
Right.
You pay him what you have to pay him, but you don't let him out of the building if you have him in your building. And in the end, all it took was him saying, a clean back. Yeah. Let me get another opinion on that one.
Now,
that was the news yesterday, and it was like when I saw that, I was like, oh, no, that's done. Right.
Well, the Cowboys, they offered a pretty decent amount. I don't think it was $47 million a year, but it was 40
and a half,
yeah,
I think.
Somewhere around there.
They wanted 5 years at 40 and a half.
Yeah.
Micah wanted 4, right? And he winds up getting what he gets.
Absolutely. Right? Good for him, man. Sometimes you got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them and walk and run and all that. We know the song. And he dug in, used his leverage, got traded out of there to a real contender in the NFC, and then got a record-setting deal, which, look, he's one of the best players in the league right now, especially on defense.
Yeah.
He's one of the top players in the league.
No doubt.
And he reset the market. I saw what Josh Hines-Allen tweeted out. He reset the market. He did. I'm sure TJ Watt's like, dang it. How about Trey Hendrickson, who's going to play for $30 million this year after getting a bump? He's like, wait a minute, $47 million, and I'm getting 30.
Yeah,
that's a big jump. Big difference in pay. But Micah Parsons, again, you can play him all over. He could probably play in the slot and cover some slot guys if they're not too tiny.
Yeah, he's athletic enough to do it.
He is. He really is.
He's special. I do think from a Jacksonville perspective on it, we know sooner rather than later they're going to have to figure out the deal with Trayvon.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they're going to have to give Trayvon the second contract. And I don't think it'll be Micah Parsons' money, but it does seem like it'll lift up whatever that second tier of players, what they're going to get paid at that position it's going to be lifted when the top of the market gets lifted the way that Micah Parsons and some of these guys are lifting it. So I don't know exactly what the number is going to wind up being for Trayvon Walker, but I think it'll be north of 30. When everything is said and done.
If he's 2 years above 10 each year. If he throws another in there, and if it goes up to 12 or 14, he may not get 47, but he's going to get up there. I mean,
no doubt.
way more than 30. I mean, if I'm him, I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, I know 12 is 12. Don't get me wrong. But think about this with Trayvon Walker. I don't think he gets enough credit for it, Tone. The first 10 and a half sack season, he played outside linebacker. Stand up for the most part.
Yeah.
The next season, he's down in the ground, and he gets another 10 and a half or 10, whatever he got.
10, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not like it's just a simple thing to do. It just shows that he's very versatile and can do both. I'm looking forward to seeing what I think he's an ascending star. I really do.
Well,
and I think Josh is going to have a big year, too. They both look very athletic, quick, fast twitch. They were jumping around. They were getting around the corners. They were moving inside.
No doubt.
They had a lot of success in camp against our offensive line. That's for darn sure.
Well, they are involved in our Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day today. Which of these predictions regarding the 2025 Jaguars is most likely to happen? Hines, Allen, and Walker combined for 28 sacks. Lawrence sets the franchise single-season passing record at 44-28. Or the team wins the division. The Jaguars win the AFC South. We'll talk about that as we go throughout the program this morning. We'll hear from head coach Liam Cohen. We'll hear from Trevor Lawrence. Brian Thomas Jr. caught up with Hayes Carline yesterday as well. We'll hear from all three of them as we go through the show. Start with a little bit of Liam Cohen when we return on the other side as we get it rolling here on a Friday edition of Jaguars Today here on 1010 XL.
Jaguars Today.
For the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios at 1010XL. 1010XL's Hayes Carline represents you in the locker room.
So you gotta up your game.
Interview persons of interest so you'll have the information you need to get ready for game day.
Time to put on your game face.
Open by Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors.
With Lee and Kate's Glass, you're gonna see a big difference.
Hey, it's Frank Frangie. Look, when it comes to glass needs around the home, there's one name I trust, Lee & Kate's. It's local, family-owned, and they've been part of our community since 1926. They've taken great care of me over the years, and I know they'll do the same for you. Visit leeandkatesglass.com.
With Lee and Kate's Glass, you're gonna see a big difference.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
If you're tired of weekend projects turning into weekend disasters, you're not alone. Building a fence isn't as easy as it looks. And let's face it, your neighbor still hasn't fixed his lopsided masterpiece. But Superior Fence and Rail makes it easy. Highly trained professionals, top quality materials, and a fence you'll love for years to come. Skip the stress and call the pros today.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
The world of college football is set to explode with excitement. 1010XL's College Football Kickoff Week is cranked up by AA Automotive on Richard Street.
Coming after you!
Let the games begin.
It's tune-up time, and Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars, wants to partner with you for a cool summer season. Tune up your AC unit right now so it's running at peak performance when you need it most. Just call 777-4300 and order a tune-up for just $59. Keep your unit humming at optimal level. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com and take advantage of their savings. Keep cool with Florida Home AC. That's 777-4300.
Our slogan, Know Before You Blow, applies to more than just DUI cases. Hi, I'm attorney Lee Lockett of Lockett Law. Battery charges can result in jail time and criminal convictions too, so know before you blow a gasket and hit a loved one or a stranger. Drug crimes like possession of marijuana and cocaine will land you in cuffs too, so know before you blow. In a boating under the influence case, you also have the option to blow or not to blow. So know your options. Know before you blow. Go to knowbeforeyoublow.com now. Offices Jacksonville.
You're stripping of that.
The
first half champion Jumbo Shrimp are home this weekend at newly renovated ViStar Ballpark. Join us tonight for Big D Building Center Friday fireworks. Then it's Honey Drippers weekend with free shorts to the first 2,000 fans through the main gate on Saturday, and Baptist Health Sunday Family Fun Day with more fireworks. Tickets start at just $5. JackShrimp.com for tickets. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball. Affordable, family, fun.
If you want to sell your home, or you're worried about selling your home, or you've had trouble selling your home, let me give you the hotline to the help you need. That's the hotline to Chad and Sandy. 904-414-6200, chadandsandy.com. Area homes are selling, but you got to get the right price, and you need the right marketing, the proven systems. Chad and Sandy hit every base for you. Need to sell now? Instant offers coming. Fast, easy, stress-free. You want max price? Chad and Sandy bring your home to market with unmatched exposure, whether you're buying or selling. Fast or max cash, Chad and Sandy have the proven plan guaranteed. And how about this promise? Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. No required costly repairs. They are the real estate experts you can trust. So call them today at 904-414-6200 or go to chadandsandy.com. That's Chad, A-N-D, Sandy.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Mac in the Middle, Tom McManus. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Superior products, exceptional service on 1010XL.
Tony Smith, Tom McManus, Dylan Denmark here with you. What is your schedule for today and tomorrow, Dylan? I know you got high school tonight, and I mean, it's all night long. So what are you doing after you get done with us here today?
Well, they're playing in Palatka tonight, so I ain't going to be able to make that game.
Gotcha.
But I'll just watch some college football tonight at 8, and then we get back here about 9:30. I guess whenever the first Bulls or Bishop Kenny game ends, and then we'll go Friday Night Lights, and I'll do that. And then tomorrow, I'm going to sit on that couch and watch 12 hours of college football. So don't need me.
Yeah. It's supposed to rain, too, isn't it, or something? That's
it's like 70% chance.
Yeah, that makes you want to sit on the couch, too, and watch some ball.
No doubt. It's probably not a bad night to be stuck in the studio.
Yeah. Yeah, right. There's some great games. There's no doubt about it this weekend. It'll be fun.
We'll see. I know the rain, I saw it was like a 10 or 12% chance of rain.
Yep.
Here when I've looked it up on my phone this morning, and I was like, well, I can see it raining through the window right now, so I guess we're in the 10.
That's right.
Percent of Jacksonville that's getting the rain right now, but apparently it's going to be off and on all day long, so we'll see how that affects or doesn't affect the high school football tonight across the area. I'll be over at Bowles for their home opener, Trinity Christian, over there tonight, so that'll be fun.
Yeah.
That game against
Trinity good again? Aren't they normally really good?
They're normally really good. They weren't great last year. Bulls handled them pretty easy early in the season last year. I think it was 34-7.
Okay.
They missed an extra point at some point, or they would have had a running clock.
Okay.
On Trinity last year, but it's Trinity, so I don't ever expect that necessarily when they're going up against them.
Bulls graduate Michael Bumpus is making his first start at Boston College this weekend. Big defensive lineman,
boy.
Massive. He's gotten even bigger. Did 4 years at Brown, got his degree, getting his master's at BC, and going to help anchor that defensive line. I'm looking forward to seeing Bill O'Brien. Bill O'Brien's second year up there. And they start with Fordham. That's all right. Warm-up game. At least it ain't Long Island University. Jeez. Can we play the Little Sisters of the Poor, or what's happening here? Or the blind, whatever we used to say.
Vandy's got Charleston Southern tomorrow night, so we'll see how Vandy does. A bowl game and a bowl victory after a win over the number one team in the country during the season is about as good as it gets in my lifetime as a Vanderbilt fan. Not that I'm expecting a repeat of that, but it wouldn't hurt my feelings.
Listen, 9-4 is a fantastic year at Boston College. 9-4 in the SEC gets you on the hot seat if you have too many of them, depending on what school you're at.
Yeah, it gets you on the hot seat at Georgia.
Oh, yeah.
At Vandy, it'll get you the job at Penn State.
Yeah, no doubt. No, that's what I mean. It depends on the team, right?
Yeah.
Or the program. But Bama, I mean, they're not going to settle for that.
No.
That's like a terrible year for Alabama.
No.
Georgia, too.
Yeah.
You know?
It is what it is.
It is.
You know, different places have different standards for those kinds of things.
Hey, by the way, I was doing a little research I'm talking about on my podcast. I was looking at, so Kenny Clark leaves Green Bay.
Yep.
Who's there to replace him? Do you know 3 out of their 4 defensive tackles are from Georgia?
No.
Yeah, and 2 are rookies, and they're big boys. One's 6'4", like 330. You know, you think Philly's the team, that Howie Roseman's the GM that gets all the Georgia players, and he does.
He does.
But
They
3 out of their starting 4 defensive tackles are former Georgia Bulldogs. I thought that was pretty interesting.
That's something.
Yeah. We'll see if they can fill the void. 2 rookies, though. I don't have their names in front of me. I have it written down. But anyway, I thought that was pretty cool. That was pretty interesting. Look, there's a lot of great football in the South, a lot of great football players. Great football players everywhere, don't get me wrong. I mean, you're going to see that wide receiver from Ohio State, man. He's incredible.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? There's plenty. Penn State's got plenty. Should be a fun year. And hopefully it's a fun year for our Jags, man. I mean, we're getting there. 1 week away. Can't wait. Think about it. A week from yesterday, we got our first NFL game.
We do.
I mean, it's rock and roll time.
Yeah, we'd have another one
go.
tonight. A week from tonight.
Yeah.
It will be week 1
right.
down in Brazil.
That's right.
Right. So we know Rashee Rice won't be playing in that game. He's accepted the 6-game suspension.
Yep.
So we won't be playing in the game on Monday Night Football against the Jaguars either.
Yep.
Right, when everything is said and done. I mentioned Liam Cohen spoke yesterday. Wanted to hear a little bit from him as we get into the show here this morning. We'll start with a little bit of Cohen, who, look, we know it's always kind of the feeling of this thing. Roster cutdown day is a big deal.
Oh, it's tough.
You know, you're watching the coaches. I know the team put out their latest episode of The Hunt yesterday, and part of that was kind of reflected in it because it was going through training camp in the preseason.
Yeah.
Right, on the hour long that they put out yesterday. And when they got done with the 3rd preseason game and Coach Cohen's in the locker room talking to the guys, saying how appreciative he is of the work they put in. You get the close up of him saying, I wish we could keep them all, but that's not the way the NFL works. You know, you go from 90 to 53.
Yep.
So 37 of them are gone. You're bringing back as many as you can.
Right.
You know, on the practice squad. And thank goodness that group is bigger.
Yeah, 16.
Than it's traditionally been in the NFL. Mm-hmm. You know, that's one of the good kind of after effects of COVID in the National Football League. They figured out that they could expand that a little bit across the league. But Liam Cohen, speaking about the roster cutdown day yesterday, said that he is pleased with the roster at this point, but they still have a lot of work to do in that regard.
You feel solid about it. We've talked about this a few times. It's always being evaluated and you know, the way that you're continuing to find ways to create an edge or fill a hole or upgrade. I mean, those things do occur throughout, but you know, proud of the guys that made it for sure, and really happy to have some of the guys on practice squad that we were able to keep, because that, you know, we all know that show team is such a huge important part of this thing. So you know, pleased with it. We have a lot of work to do.
A lot of work to do, obviously. I mean, they got 17 regular season games to play, and then we'll evaluate it week by week, moment by moment, as they're going through that kind of thing. But it is, you know, cutdown days never any fun.
No.
You know, around the league.
No, but it is nice that you can almost bring 50% back to, if you want, you know, to choose, you know, on your practice squad. A little bit less than that, obviously. But look, I've been on both sides. I've been cut, and then I won, you know, made the team kind of thing. And it's challenging. And you know, look, it's sometimes you feel like you're so close. Like, and it's not that big of a margin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you could pick a player that got released. Now, maybe he's on the practice squad, but got released. You're like, you know what? He's not that far off from being a contributor. Like Austin Trammell. I think he could play in the NFL.
Yeah.
In the right system. He may not be a starter, but I think if you need him to run a few routes from the slot, get him one-on-one with guys, you need him to maybe back up your punt returner, I think he's got a role. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean he can't. He's not an NFL. You know what I mean? That he's not an NFL player. Yeah. He is. So, you know, it's just sometimes it is that minuscule. Sometimes it's numbers, you know, and it's even trickier when they have Travis Hunter, who, you know, which one does he count for? That gives them more flexibility. Mm-hmm. And they can say, you know what? We like more of our special teams guy are at DB. So we're going to keep more DBs. And I'm sorry, 6 linebacker, Branson Combs. We just can't keep you. We're not keeping the next line. You might have been the next one.
Yep.
But we're not keeping that number. So it is sometimes that close. And good thing they can bring them back. I mean, 16 is great. They make a very good living. They're part of the team. You can hear the way Liam talks about them. He's making them important, and they are. He called them the show team, which means you're getting our guys ready for Sunday. It is a very big role. There's no doubt, because they need you. They don't need you to wear them out, but they need you to give them good looks. They need you to, know what you're doing, following the cards and, giving them that practice that they need. And it's a good thing they have that. But, look, it's emotional. It's emotional for the coaches, emotional for the players. Those players that don't make it, they go home and people ask questions and it sucks. You're like, yeah.
Well, it is it's a different world for all these guys, right? Like odds are they've been the guy. Pretty much wherever they've been to this point in their football playing careers. When they were playing Pop Warner, they were the guy. High school, they were the guy.
For sure.
College, in all likelihood, they were the guy, or at least one of the guys.
One of the guys.
And now you get to the NFL, and someone's got to get it in your head, especially at a position like wide receiver. Yep. If you're going to make an NFL roster as the 5th or 6th receiver, you need to be a special teams demon, right? Like that's the way that you make it in the NFL. Well, that may be the first time they've ever really been asked to play special teams in their life.
Right.
Like you just don't know what the history of that kind of thing is. So you may not know if you're any good at it or not till you show up for training camp and they're like, we need you to do this.
Yeah.
If you're going to make the team, we need you to do this.
Yeah.
And you're trying to do something you've never done before, but that's your path.
Yeah.
And so if you're not going to be giving us a lot there, then we'll find somebody who can. I mean, they talked about already the 2 young defensive ends they kept with Strigo and Green.
Yeah.
They help them on special teams.
Absolutely.
Right. And they get effort from those guys on special teams when they need it. So that's part of the reason why they were comfortable keeping both of them.
Yeah, by the way, great, look, and Beast, who joins us on Helmets and Heels on Tuesdays for an hour, he brought this up. He's like, look, I can remember hearing, like, running backs better be good tacklers. And you're like, what? Wait a minute, what do you mean? Well, because if you're not starting, you got to play special teams, so you better be a good tackler. Like, so learn how to be a complete football player, not just your position. Like, even wide receivers, you're not going to start. Well, you got to contribute on special teams for sure. And that part of that is tackling in the open field. I know you know how to run routes. I know how to catch a rock and all that. But do you know how to tackle? Like, you got to make sure you know. It makes a lot of sense. Like, you got to be that complete type player to more you can do. Because if you don't play special teams, unless you're a backup offensive lineman, you're not on the team. You got to contribute on special teams.
Yeah, we need you to be what we need you to be.
Absolutely.
Right, and special teams is going to be a part of that. Let's hear one more from Cohen here in this segment. Caleb Brandow going to IR was probably, if there was kind of a eye-opening move, I don't think it opened eyes in the building. I think they knew it was kind of going this direction for a while here with the injury, and they get back, and it didn't recover the way they wanted to, according to Gladstone. So they had to go the surgery route for him. So he's going to miss his rookie year. But Coach Cohen was asked yesterday if Caleb Brandow going into his rookie season now on IR for that whole season, if he can still get something out of this rookie year.
I mean, those guys have to stay, and it's really difficult when you're hurt and it's going to be a tough go. So you've got to, and he's the type of guy that will handle it the right way. He's had injuries in the past. He's been hurt before. He's been able to stay locked in and come back from that. So I have the confidence in him that he'll be in there doing the right things. I mean, the guy, I remember hearing a story when he had surgery at Tulane. He was waiting to get surgery, and he just had surgery, and he had his iPad with him, and he had the video guy download all of the best nickels in the NFL, and he was watching all their tape while he was, out of post-op. So he's got that right mindset, and he has to take advantage of it.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We know we're not going to see him his rookie year, so that's gone. Yeah. We'll see what it looks like for him in year 2.
So a non-contact foot injury, right? And then they decide, I wonder if it's just like a fracture. They had to put a screw in. It'd be just too long to come back. And you know what I mean? We just keep him on IR. Well, look, now Caleb's job is just to get healthy. You know, I've been down that road before. They, You're still a part of the team. You know, you're on different schedule. You know, it's different. You know, you can still be in meetings and stuff like that, but you're rehabbing. You're trying to get back as best you can. That is the job now. And they pay you, which is nice. You know, you don't have to worry about that. And it sounds like, you know, just the demeanor of Liam Cohen, he's going to make sure Caleb's included in as much as possible. Because it can be IR is lonely, man. I've been on it twice.
Yeah.
I've been on it twice. And I remember in 99, I got hurt in the last play of the second game when we beat Carolina. And after a while, I was gone for a while because I had to get my foot surgery up in Chicago. I couldn't drive. I couldn't do anything. I was gone for like 8 weeks. And I came back and my locker was in the middle of the locker room. And I was like, okay. I think I see what's happening here. And
back to work.
You know, that was, it was just he had to rehab. That's all you do is rehab and try to be a part of it. So hopefully Caleb can get healthy and everything's good and
no doubt
come back stronger next year.
We'll hear more from Coach Cohen, who was asked about two of the areas of interest that were biggest for everyone throughout the offseason. Yesterday, he was asked about defensive line and some of the decisions that they've made where a couple of undrafted free agents have come in, as I've already mentioned, the 53, and how he feels about the offensive line as they turn to regular season mode now up front on both lines of scrimmage. We'll hear him talking a little bit about both of those as we continue along. You're listening to Jaguars Today here on 1010XL.
Hey, everybody, Mike Dempsey here for big number one Duval Ford. Look, you got a big weekend here coming up. Take advantage of these 3 days off and head on over to Casson Avenue and check out big number one Duval Ford's unbeatable selection of F-150s, Super Duties, Broncos. You're going to find transparent pricing, fast trade appraisals, and a no-pressure buying experience and the best service department in all of Duval County. Big number one Duval Ford since 1916, serving Jacksonville online at duvalford.com.
Jaguars
Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL.
We're certainly facing interesting economic times. For me, it's comforting to know my money's in good hands with ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. Experience? Yeah, that's Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reed Wingate. They have the expertise and knowledge to take care of your money. For more info, go to itppartners.com. ITP Partners, they're my financial partners for life.
Non-compensated client testimonial may not be representative of all client experiences. No guarantee of future performance or success.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Looking for a great place to enjoy some craft creations and soak up some scenery? Fernandina's Mocama Beer Company is a must-see and must-try. Nassau County knows it. Visitors need to find out about it. Mocama means near the big water where the sun is born. And if you visit their tap room in Fernandina Beach, you'll see how they've mastered equal parts precision and art in creating great flavors from IPAs to Pilsners, lagers, and sours, plus plenty more. Mocama.com, Mocama Beer Company. Start an adventure and find them in Fernandina.
This is the final week of Beards Diamond's incredible free finance offer. Hicken here. This week only, make any purchase, spread those payments over 5 years without a dime in interest payments. Not just on engagement rings, earrings, bracelets, bands, colored gemstone jewelry. Buy now, pay nothing down, spread your payments over 5 years. Such a smart way to buy and nobody else can do it. 5 years, zero interest. You can even finance the sales tax. All GIA certified diamonds are included in this. I'm talking rounds, princess cuts, ovals, pear-shaped, cushion cuts, emerald cuts. You get the idea. Whether you get a $5,000 diamond or a $50,000 diamond, spread those payments over 5 whole years. Get the Beards Diamonds unbeatable price. Pay zero down, spread your payments over 5 years. Lots of folks are doing this, but time is running out. The offer ends on Sunday and will not be extended. Beards Diamonds in the St. John's Town Center. Shop local, shop Beards.
Right now, they're on their way to disrupt your life, make you uncomfortable, and rob you. Don't bother calling the police. They can't help. That's right. Summer heat and humidity are about to attack North Florida again. You know what to do. Call Mike Merritt. Mike Merritt's Heating and Air has a license to chill. When heat and humidity are attacking you, Mike Merritt provides a comfortable chill at a bargain price. Mike has been keeping North Florida comfortable for 30 years. Mike Merritt technicians are never paid commissions, meaning you'll never be pressured to buy something you don't need. And Mike Merritt knows cooling issues can arise anytime. They don't just happen during business hours. So Mike Merritt never charges overtime fees. When you need us, we're here for you. Remember, in the fight against heat and humidity, Mike Merritt has a license to chill. Visit merrittair.com. Florida license number CACO 50384.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Superior products, exceptional service on 1010XL.
Our question of the day today asking, which of these do you feel like is most likely to happen for the 2025 Jaguars? Hines Allen and Trayvon Walker combine for 28 sacks, which would be a half sack more than they had in that big season in 23. Trevor Lawrence sets the new single-season passing record for the Jags at 44-28.
Is that yards?
That's yards.
Okay.
Yep.
Got it.
And then the team wins the AFC South. We'll give our thoughts on that as we go throughout the show.
All right.
This morning, as I mentioned, Coach Cohen yesterday talked a little bit about a couple of the big topics of discussion throughout the entirety of the offseason going into training camp, now through the preseason as we're a week away from the regular season getting started, starting with, they decide to keep a couple of undrafted rookies on the defensive line. They bring in Ogba right after the draft. They bring Smoot back. Mm-hmm. They obviously address the problems on the interior. They bring in Sander. They've done work with that defensive line. We'll see if they found the right answers in that regard as we get into the season. But Coach Cohen yesterday was asked to break down what they've gotten done so far on the defensive line.
The ability that, with both Ogba and Smoot give us the ability to reduce a little bit. So you can go a little heavier on the edge because those guys can reduce down and play a little bit of, 4-eye, a little 3 technique if you need so. And obviously Trayvon does that as well. So that's kind of the reason for a little bit heavier on the edge. And then BJ and Strigow both earned it. I mean, they earned it throughout their performances since they got here, continuing to improve. And then especially once we got the pads on, you were able to see both of those guys, specifically BJ, show up in the pressures and the relentless play and the way that he kind of goes about it. So, pleased with, 2 undrafted free agents make your 53. And, we're going to need them at some point, but also they will do a phenomenal job giving our offensive line a look every week because they're relentless, the way they practice, the way they compete, all of that kind of goes into it as well.
Yeah, we know Strigo and Green aren't going to be replacing Trayvon Walker or Josh Hines Allen, but they could be replacements for Ogba and Smoot, right? Like those are both guys that are only here for a year. So now you have rookies that they feel good about, look good through the preseason, that could be stepping into those, that 3 and 4 role for the football team sooner rather than later. I know we talked a lot about defensive interior and some of the questions we had about that going through the whole thing. I know you've been high on Eric Armstead at times in the process getting ready for the season. Yeah, and so they are going to be playing him at tackle this year. They got Mason Smith back. Both those guys are back on the football field for him. They're willing to make the trade for Saunders, right? Austin Johnson makes the club as well.
Yep.
How in general do you feel about the Jaguars' front four and the options they have backing them up going into the season?
Yeah, first of all, I think it all centers around Eric Armstead playing that 3 technique inside, over the guard. He is a menace when he wants to be, and he's shown that in the past from that interior position. We know our edges are going to be really strong. I think Josh is going to have a big year. I think Trayvon's an ascending star as a defensive lineman, pass rusher, and overall defensive end. The Saunders trade, he's a run stopper. Austin Johnson, big, just presence, trying to be more physical up front. Mason Smith, of course, who they're expecting to, continue to evolve. And you have Devon Hamilton as well. They keep adding to it, right? That the veteran D lineman they just put on the practice squad, he's been around 7-8 years. We'll see what happens with him. He's a big old boy. But they have upgraded the size. They've upgraded, the presence, I think, as a defensive tackle. Let's be honest. Last year, their interior D-line was not good enough. It just wasn't. They make plays from time to time, but overall, they wouldn't. They get blocked, they get pushed out of the way or pushed down the field, and it just wasn't good enough. So I expect that to be a lot better. My question is, who's the third pass rusher? Who's the guy that is going to be, he may not start for you, but man, when it's passing downs, he's coming on. And one of the guys, maybe Devon comes off or whoever comes off. Who is that going to be? You'd move Trayvon down, of course, and then you'd have another pass rusher.
Who would you have most confidence in? Like among the options we just went through, Ogba, Smoot, Strigo, BJ Green. Like if you were picking one of those guys as the guy that you think will be the most effective kind of third guy in that kind of role behind Hines Allen and Walker, who do you think that would be?
I think it starts off with either Ogba or Smoot, but don't forget Gardeck is here for a reason. He's going to do a lot of special teams, but they say he can rush. He's rushed in the past. We got to see it, obviously. I think this is where BJ Green can come in and maybe have a shot at it. He stood out in practice a lot. Strigo, he stood out in the games without question, and so happy both of them made it. Undrafted free agents, not making an NFL team is just spectacular. Yeah. Just shows they're really good football players, and they really want it, and they're really hungry, and they're willing to do whatever it takes. And you need those kind of guys on your team. You do. And but I think Green has some real natural pass rush ability. His bend, he's very quick. He's 6'1", 270. That's why he wasn't drafted. I don't know what his 40 time was, and I don't really care. But you notice number 95 out there in practice and then in games. So he might have a chance to be that third. But right now, I wouldn't sit there and be like, Smoot's the third. Smoot's more of a defensive tackle for me more than a pass rusher. Ogba can rush a passer, but he's not a pass rush specialist type player. He's just an overall good defensive end who can get to the quarterback, a handful of times.
Yeah. They seem to have a group of guys, and I think Smoot probably kind of defines this kind of player for him, right? Among kind of the backups that we're talking about here. He finishes plays.
Oh, yeah. No, he's great. I love Smoot.
He's one of those guys where if you cover well enough, Smoot's going to make a play for you.
Yep.
He's that kind of guy.
Effort.
And it feels like whatever they've had behind Hines Allen and Walker for the last 3 years, basically, they haven't had that, right? Like someone that finishes plays for him from somewhere else.
Listen, and not that it's a huge deal, but they haven't replaced Arden Key. He was a nice third rusher that's going to get you 5-6 sacks. You know what I mean?
It'd be nice if they could have one or two of those guys.
Yeah, and maybe they're there on the roster,
and we'll see. We're about to find out. We're a week away from finding out. If they've answered some of these questions or not, including on the offensive line. We'll hear Coach Cohen's thoughts about the run game going into the season as we continue along here as well. Tony Smith, Tom McManus, Dylan Denmark here with you. Mike Dempsey on assignment as we get ready to close up at least the first hour of the program this morning. We got another hour to go here on Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Jaguars Today. You're at the home of the Jaguars in the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Superior products, exceptional service. Go! Your play-by-play home of Bulls Bulldogs football is 1010XL.
It's the home opener at Skinner Barco. The Bulldogs go for 3 in a row against Trinity Christian. Friday night at 7 on 1010 AM.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. Hurricanes happen in Florida. That's not news. But what happens even more often than hurricanes are home break-ins. And if security is important to you, you might want to look into hurricane-rated impact windows.
What you may not know is that hurricane-rated impact windows not only help protect your home in case of a hurricane, but they also offer another level of security for your home.
Have you seen those videos on YouTube that show people trying to break through an impact window? A thief is way too lazy to spend his energy trying to break through one of our impact windows. That's why he doesn't have a real job like you. He'd rather break your non-impact window while you're at work. Window World has high-quality, very affordable hurricane-rated impact windows to help protect your home from hurricanes and from lazy thieves.
Call us today at 904-443-7001. Get a free estimate and see for yourself. You save energy, get more security, and the windows add value to your home. With all Window World windows, you get the best guarantee in the window replacement business.
Window World,
simply the best for less.
And thank you for your business.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
It's time to elevate your back-to-school style with luxury and a brand new Cadillac.
Discover the 2025 Luxury XT6, a spacious 7-seat SUV starting at just $49,195. Perfect for carpooling or weekend adventures.
That's right, or step up your game with the stunning 2026 Vistique, Escalade, and Escalade IQ.
I want to go back to school in style.
You can. Visit us at Randy Marion Cadillac on Southside Boulevard in Jacksonville. This school year, it's all about style.
Plus tax tag title $9.99 admin fee and resist all on approved credit.
Need protection? Call Craig and Christine Kaprowski at Goosehead Insurance. The Kaprowskis are a husband and wife team committed to finding you the right coverage at the right price in just a few short minutes. For home, auto, flood, or specialty insurance, Craig and Christine Kaprowski are the answer. Craig.Kaprowski at Goosehead.com.
You can't go inside your home team's locker room, so Jags beat reporter Hayes Carline goes there for you.
Work on three, 1, 2, 3,
Hayes Carline here. Find my blog at 1010XL.com.
Brought to you by Roland Reach Plumbing, where quality and experience count.
When your plumbing backs up, your septic's acting shady, or your AC quits on a 95-degree day, who are you going to call? Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. Don't take just our word for it. Here's what real customers are saying about their experience with our company.
Megan in the office was so helpful and polite. Scheduling was easy, and the tech showed up right on time.
From plumbing and septic to air conditioning, we do it all. Call 904-862-6769 or online at duckrooter.com. When you're stuck, call the Duck.
This is Greg Huntington, a.k.a. The Mangler. I'm on the winning team at Waste Management. WM is the largest sustainability company in North America. If your business needs sustainable environmental services for waste removal and recycling collection, then you can count on the industry leader of WM to deliver results. Your services will be completed in a timely, safe, and eco-friendly manner. Go to WM.com/Duval. That's WM.com/Duval and get signed up today. If anyone can talk trash, it's the Mangler.
How do you know that your roof is ready for the next big storm? You don't. That's why you need to call me. I'm Ronnie, the owner of Brandon Roofing. We'll assess your roof and fix those issues before they become storm disasters. Visit BrandonRoofing.com today to schedule your free roofing quote.
License number CCC 1328006.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwoods. Clayton, you have told us about the importance of cutting a diamond properly and about color and weight. But how do you judge the clarity of a diamond?
Frank, that's a good question that has a very specific answer. Diamonds are graded at 10-power magnification using a binocular microscope. But when you're shopping for diamonds, a lot of times a sales clerk will just hand you a magnifying glass called a jeweler's loupe and have you look into the diamond. While an expert knows how to do this, it's kind of tough on a novice because they don't know how to create the same dark field illumination that a binocular microscope gives. As a result, the customer may or may not be able to see anything. That's why at Underwoods, we set the clarity grade of a diamond with a binocular microscope. We have these instruments in every store and invite our customers to examine the diamond underneath them. We can show you the microscopic inclusions that affect the rarity and value of a diamond. So if you're shopping for fine quality diamonds and want the facts, come see us at Underwoods.
That's Underwood Jewelers in San Marco, in Avondale, for the shops of Ponte Vedra.
1010XL, presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farrah doesn't flinch.
Tom McManus.
Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Superior products, exceptional service on 1010XL.
Tony Smith, Tom McManus, Dylan Denmark here with you, rolling along on this edition of Jaguars Today.
I just had a great snack in that break.
Oh, yeah?
PB&J, baby. Nothing like a good peanut butter and jelly. You know what I'm saying?
Classic grape, I assume.
Concord grape, I think it's called. That's good.
Uh-huh.
Good stuff. What's your peanut butter choice? Do you have one?
Not really. I've always described my relationship with peanut butter as I hate it, right?
Really?
But it's descriptive in how I feel about it compared to the rest of the world.
Okay.
Right? Like, it's not I can't stand peanut butter.
Right.
Like, I'll eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich from time to time.
Yeah.
You know, I get hungry. I'm like, oh, this is what's available to me. I'll eat it.
Yeah, right.
But I describe it as I hate it because, like, when the Halloween candy and that kind of thing's been passed around, you know, and everyone grabs the Reese's first, I'm like, do it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need that.
Right.
Like, the peanut butter, I don't hate it the way that I describe it, but it's hated compared to everyone else feels about it. So I leave it for everyone else.
Yeah.
Because I know that's their preference to mine.
Yeah.
You know, and those kinds of things. So I don't really have a peanut butter preference.
We go through a lot of peanut butter.
Yeah.
We eat a lot of peanut butter. One of my favorite snacks is, and I didn't have it in a sandwich, but saltine crackers with some peanut butter, make little sandwiches out of them. Oh, forget about it. Good stuff. Good stuff. Anyway.
Let's hear a little bit from Coach Cohen talking about what's going to be happening with the run game and the offensive line for the football team. He talked about that yesterday as well. One of the questions he was asked about, look, we're all trying to gauge how improved they are in a bunch of the areas up front, right? And we won't know until we get to Carolina and going forward into the season what the answers to these kind of questions really will be. But Coach Cohen was asked about how good the run game will be, and he said it's hard to know right now until we get into the actual work that'll begin against Carolina.
You know, it's so hard to truly judge it going into week one because you've only had the one joint and then the few preseason reps that you get with the first group. But I think if you look at the entirety of it throughout training camp, the physicality in which I think we practiced for the majority of the time when we would go, I do believe was showing progress throughout that time. And then you look at some of the preseason ops, even with maybe the second and third groups in there, you know, being able to be physical in the run game and finish people and the backs doing some different things. So are we there yet? It's hard to say.
How good do you think the run game will be, Tommy?
I tell you, if you had to go by what you saw during camp and the practices, their run blocking up front was way better than the pass blocking, and the backs looked really impressive. I mean, all four of them, including Jaquindon, who's on the practice squad, so all five of them, they got, look, the key to the running game is always that timing when you hit that hole, and it felt like during this camp, all backs it was that one cut and go, like get up the field, you know, get north and south, you know, make that cut, be decisive. We saw a couple missed cuts in that first game, if you remember. There was a couple. ETN missed one, and so did Tank. Tank hit one, too, which was good. It was a good cut. You know, Baishul, he's obviously a guy that sees the field well, too. But those guys, I think, are going to be pretty effective. It starts with up front. Now, I think they're good enough to move people enough. But it's going to be that, you know, I don't think anybody's just going to take a big defensive tackle and mow them down to the ground. You know what I mean? All you got to do is move them a little. So that but the back's got to hit it at that specific time to get that hole. So I think all that'll be better. It might take a little bit to get the timing down. But I tell you what, they're all hungry. I commend Travis Etienne Jr. for the way he's handled himself all throughout camp. Everyone's talking about he was done, he's getting traded, but all this stuff. And all he did was, man, he looked good during camp. He really has. So I feel pretty good overall about the running game. But again, Tone, they're only going against each other for the most part.
Like, we won't know yet. And I think the we don't know yet is part of the reason why I feel like they're going to try to have all four guys active early in the season. I think what we've seen from Tootin has only grown my confidence that he's the guy that they want to have as the featured guy. Like, I think that's the direction they want to go with it. But watching Tootin do it against a bunch of teams 2s and 3s is one thing. You won't know how he's going to do against the guys in the league until he's on the field against the guys in the league. And they're in an interesting spot trying to get all four running backs active because you would think Allen is their most effective pass blocker. He's an effective enough runner and pass catcher that he could be the third down back for you. He could. You know, in that kind of situation. So you would think he's got a place active on game day. So if they were going to inactivate one of the four backs, it would be Bigsby or Tootin. Right? Yeah. Like, it would feel like it would be one of those two guys would be inactive. Well, I don't think they want Tootin inactive until they figure out whether or not he needs to be inactive because he's not ready to take on a bigger role. I think they want a big role for him in the offense. So my suspicion is that early on in the season, they're going to have all four active, figure out week to week after that if they kind of like a matchup thing, but I think they eventually want Tootin to be the guy. And while they're trying to push Tootin into the guy role, I think they're going to have all 4 active until he shows that he can't.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. I think with LaQuint Allen and Travis Etienne, though, they're a lot alike. And Travis is pretty good at picking up the blitz. He's not fantastic, but he's a willing participant. I think he's gotten better. He's great out of the backfield. I mean, Travis, I was commenting on a play that I forget what game, whatever last game he was playing in. They did a play-action pass, fake handoff to him. He went up the field, did a little option route on the back. It was an easy pitch and catch for 9 yards between him and Trevor, and that linebacker didn't have a chance. A, it's really hard to do because you're probably biting on the run fake. And B, Travis Etienne is really good in that type of role. He's very good in the screen game. You know, and I think he's more fluid in the screen game. I think he's great in the open field. So the question is, do we need, and I like Allen, don't get me wrong, and I think he can do a third down back role. But do we need him if Etienne can do it? What we need is that pounder. Who's going to be my pounder? Is it going to be Tank or is it going to be Tootin?
I think it'll more likely be Tootin.
And then we got to figure that out, right? Yeah. So maybe I can see them, although Liam said it's going to be tough to activate all 4 on game day. I could see that.
They got to figure that out, yeah.
To me, I feel like the odd man out, at least for week 1, would be LaQuint Allen Jr. because Travis Etienne, they're confident that he can do everything that they need him to do on whether it's first down, second down, or third down.
Yep.
My opinion.
Yeah, I do think Allen's probably their best pass blocker. But again, it's a bunch of different things going in different directions. I think they want all 4 active. They'll try to figure out a way to do that. Do want to mention they have signed Austin Trammell to the practice squad. Right. They let Dorian Singer go as part of that move. So 1 wide receiver in, 1 wide receiver out. Want to hear a little bit about the guy that'll be throwing to the wide receivers here in Jacksonville. Trevor Lawrence spoke yesterday as well. We'll hear a little bit from him as we get into the second hour of the program here this morning. You're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Jaguars Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors studios of 1010XL. Big games, big hitters, big radio. Go big or go home. 1010XL, the station that plays big.
At Keon Atlantic, the savings are back in session. You'll just need to follow these simple rules to make the most of your back to school. Step 1, switch out your car for an upgrade. Step 2, drive a new Kia starting at $20K. Step 3, make no payments for a whole 90 days. Hurry in to start back to school in a big way. Online at KeonAtlantic.com. Keon Atlantic, your coastal Kia connection. For complete details, call 904-250-0587.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
Life is about choices and the decisions you make. I'm David Robbins with Epstein & Robbins. If you're convicted of a DUI, you'll have to face severe consequences. Walking through the doors of the courthouse or appearing at a bond hearing can be extremely intimidating. Without the right lawyer, you're likely to make the wrong decision. Let our team help you make the right decisions in court. Epstein & Robbins, the right choice.
Epstein & Robbins, fighting for your rights since 1975.
Recap this week's high school football games with Hacker and Dylan Denmark.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists Friday Night Lights.
Hear highlights and comments from the winning coaches. Presented by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning.
Plan ahead this year and order your home holiday decorating from Kuhn Flowers. They'll take care of all your Christmas tree setup, lighting, and decorating hassles. This is Max with 1010XL. Call on Kuhn Flowers. They'll do it all this fall.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
I-9 Sports covers the First Coast with all kinds of sports for kids ages 3 to 17. Fall and winter registration is open right now, like girls volleyball at Duval Charter Bay Meadows, plus plenty of co-ed programs in the Tri-County area to keep your kids active. And being part of a team creates great camaraderie and commitment. Year-round sports all across the First Coast. St. John's, Duval, and Clay, sign up now for the fall and winter. It's all at i9sports.com. Enter 1010 in the promo code for a discount. That's i9sports.com.
Blue here for the blue. Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. Here's a reminder to get screened. Ackerman Cancer Center offers on-site imaging and other diagnostic services. Early detection saves lives. Visit AckermanCancerCenter.com.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, Jason, got a minute?
Always. What's on your mind?
This time of year, my air conditioner is running non-stop. Hot all day, hot all night. It has to run constantly just to keep up.
Well, that's what they do.
But if something happens to it in the middle of a 2-week heat wave, I'm in trouble, Jason. I can't wait 3 days or 2 days or even the next day for service. If you can't get someone here today, I'm sweating by tonight. What if it breaks, Jason?
You call me, pal. That's what we do. Bueller Air and Plumbing.
But you're probably swamped with calls from everyone else's AC that ran nonstop and then broke in a heat wave, so they called you because that's what you do.
But we always have room for an emergency. At Bueller Air and Plumbing, we have techs standing by because we know these things happen.
So I don't need to worry. Wow. That time you calmed me down without even using the sunglasses.
Oh, I was reaching for them.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
The best value for golf in Jacksonville remains Cimarron. Totally reestablished with new tee boxes, improved fairways and greens. Also a brand new restaurant with indoor and outdoor settings and live music. Join the Wild One loyalty program online at Cimarron Golf. When's the last time you played Cimarron? Cimarron Golf Club on 210, the Wild One.
Here's your 1010XL local sports update, sponsored by Kuhn Flowers. Week 2 matchups in the Florida High School Athletic Association includes a featured game with Bowles versus Trinity Princeton. You can hear the game live at 7 on 1010XL AM. Florida's Sharif Denson is locking down the star spot, a hybrid DB role that demands versatility. The Jacksonville natives out to prove DBU still lives in Gainesville. That's your 1010XL local sports update. I'm Sam Nelson.
At 11:02, it's 80 degrees. Time at 10, brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Tom McManus. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Superior products, exceptional service on 1010XL.
Will you just be watching BC from the house? Is that the plan, Tommy? Or
I got to find out what they're on, so I'll go find them if I can't get them at the house. But I'll keep my eye on pretty much all the games. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm looking forward to some of these big games, man. I mean, I think the most fun is going to be the LSU Clemson game. Mm. I think that'll have a lot of fireworks. You know, you got two really good QBs. Clemson's got a heck of a defense, and LSU always has the best athletes, it feels like. You know, they're all big, fast, and mean. So it should be a good Saturday night outing.
Yeah, I know Trevor was asked if he and Brian Thomas Jr. have anything on the line for the game tomorrow, right. But we'll get to a little bit from Trevor Lawrence. I know he was asked about the general state of college football right now, too, but we're here to talk Jaguars football.
That's right.
I'm not so concerned about how Trevor feels about what's going on.
No, he had it easy in college.
Right,
a lot
in the
different.
College game right now. But I am interested in hearing from Trevor Lawrence when, look, we know, and he's had to deal with this a lot in his career to this point. New coach, new scheme, that kind of thing has been going on for Trevor Lawrence basically since he got here to Jacksonville. The scheme last year felt stale by the time we got into the season for the football team, right? So we were all kind of asking for some clarity as to whose scheme is this and who's calling it. That was a big question going into the season last year, and we couldn't get Doug to give us a straight answer, you know, on that kind of thing. Eventually we found out, it is the offensive coordinator that's calling the plays. Fine, just say it. Like, it's not a big deal. Just say it.
Right.
You know, take that kind of question off the table for everyone. Let us know who to blame when it goes bad. You know, like that's all we're asking when we ask those kind of questions. But Trevor was asked about how do you build, you know, the relationship and the rapport with a play caller, especially a new one when you're trying to get that built up over the course of an offseason going into a regular season together?
Constant communication throughout practice. Obviously, there's a lot of breaks between series and all that stuff where we can catch up on some plays, or even right after a play, he'll kind of give me his feedback on what he's thinking, what he sees. So all that stuff I've just been taking in for the last, really, 4 months or 5 months, whatever it's been since the spring. So that's been great. I'd say too, like in the meeting rooms and now game planning, like that's a big part of it. Week to week, it's going to change, and we have such a good staff that does a great job of breaking down, whether it's defenses, our scheme, our plan, why we're doing things a certain way. And I think just talking with Liam throughout the week and making sure once we step on the field Sunday, we're just in lockstep as far as what he's seeing, why he's calling certain things. Obviously, it's my job to get the ball to the right guy, and that coverage has changed, so it's not always going to go to who you're setting the play up for. But there's a ton of options out there, so I got to play the play out. But knowing what he's thinking, why he's calling certain things is certainly valuable, and we want to be on the same page. And I feel like we're, on a great trajectory on that. But it's week to week. You got to continue to communicate.
I do feel like, Tommy, we're hearing players in the offensive scheme discussing the why more than we've heard them discuss it in the past. And I don't know if it's just I'm looking for them to discuss the why, so now my eyes are kind of searching for that kind of thing when we hear these guys talk. But it does feel like, especially compared to the last 2 years, that we're hearing Trevor Lawrence and Brian Thomas Jr., like these guys, when they're talking to the media, they'll talk about trying to understand the why of what they're doing in the offense as opposed to just the what. Of just where I need to be,
right.
Like that kind of, they are actually trying to and discussing the mindset behind we're calling this play in this situation to get this done, to accomplish a specific thing in a specific situation. So it does feel like from that perspective, they are a little bit more into it than maybe they've been the last couple of years. But again, that could just be, it caught my attention whenever someone said it, so now I see it everywhere. Like I don't know how much of it is that.
Well, look, I think that's part of Liam's approach. He got real honest with these guys early on. Remember, that's what he first said. I'm going to get honest, right? He got honest with Trevor about his footwork. He got honest about his mechanics. They look like they're fixed. That was a big part of the development and the progress. Then once that's earned, that's kind of the new age, right? You develop the principle of accountability. And then it's like, okay, you have a right to, give me your opinion. Mm-hmm. It's not my way or the highway anymore. We know that. The principles of accountability should never change. The delivery has changed, and it's good. It's good. We've evolved, right? It's no more like, just do it and shut up. There's none of that anymore. No, listen, you've earned the right to sit there and be like, all right, what helps you? Like, we're going to help each other. Remember that old, Jerry Maguire? Help me, help you. Help me, help you. It's kind of the same kind of thing, especially with the quarterback. Like, you want your quarterback involved. Like, and you want to explain. It's great that it sounds like Liam's a phenomenal communicator. Like, not only just saying, all right, here's the play, but guys, this is why we're running this play, and this is why we're running it at this time. Now, do you feel comfortable running it? That's good. That's open communication, man. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's good to have that feedback, especially from your star players.
And there's been a couple moments of that. I know in camp they had the one day where they even had the video of it again. They had it in the hunt yesterday, right? Where Trevor and Coach Cohen are talking about a play in a situation, and Trevor's like, well, I want to try this. And Cohen goes, all right, let's do it. Yeah. And then the play works, and Trevor just looks over at him and nods, and Cohen's just kind of fist pumping like, good job. Like that kind of thing. And then he highlighted during the game in New Orleans where the communication went out, and Trevor had to make the call in the huddle. Yep. And they got to communicated it well, and the play worked. Yep. Right? And he's talking about this is what we're trying to build. Right. For you guys to understand it well enough that when you get in a situation like that, you can take on some of the responsibility yourself. Right. It doesn't always have to come from the top down, when you get into those kind of spots, which is good to see. One here from Coach Cohen talking specifically about Trevor Lawrence. We'll go to cut 6 here, Dylan. And look, this is something that we've seen from Trevor to this point in his career. I call it the Superman ball that he plays from time to time. Like he just takes it all on himself, right? He says, I got to put on the cape. And he's been a guy who's been willing to put on the cape at times where we don't need you wearing the cape right now. You know, like just make the right play. We don't need the superhero play in some of these moments. And Coach Cohen was asked yesterday about Trevor and said there's been times to this point in his career where he's just been trying to do too much.
It wasn't more that it looked like it was a guy that was, at times trying to do too much. Like, man, the run game's not really hitting here, and every throw becomes a little bit more magnified when maybe you don't have balance. And so I think it was a matter of you don't have to, like, every throw is not going to make or break the game. Like, we got to take care of the football. We want to be efficient and accurate in the pass game, but we have to know when to throw the thing away and know when to maybe eat it and have to take a sack, which we never want to really do, but it's better than giving them the ball. If you end every drive with a kick, usually you'll be okay. I mean, obviously you don't want too many of those to be punts, but the biggest theme for us has been not beating ourselves, because before we can really start to beat other teams, we cannot beat ourselves, and that has been an issue.
Yeah, I know he can put on the cape and looks good wearing it, right? Like from time to time.
From time to time.
Like, sure. I know he's got that kind of play in him. I think there has been, to this point in his career, times where he puts it on where it's like, we just need Clark Kent right now, right? Like, we don't need the whole Superman persona yet.
Yep.
When we need it, we'll pivot to it, but we don't need it necessarily in all these moments. And hopefully the offense is comfortable enough for him that the transition from one to the other and the timing of it helps kind of facilitate those things happening naturally in the right way.
It's taking what the defense gives you without forcing that big play. We all want the big play, even the fans. Who doesn't want to see a 75-yard bomb on third down, for a touchdown or a big gain? But a lot of times those don't click. Those don't hit. And you leave. There are guys that are open. We've seen that, and not a ton, but you've seen Trevor go for the deep shot when he might have had somebody underneath for the first down. And I think that's what he's being taught with Liam. Like, hey man, you take what, like, I'm going to call the play. He should be open. Now he may not be open. That's when you have to improvise and go to number 2 or number 3 or what have you. But you should have him open. So take what's given. Like, if that safety's off and he breaks off his route, give it to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't look for the, oh, wait, I don't like that. Let me go make a big play over here, scramble over here. No, just throw that ball, get the completion. Maybe he gets some yak. Maybe he doesn't, but it's positive yards, and then we move on. And guess what? When you do that, eventually you'll lull that defense to sleep. Then that open shot downfield, it becomes open. And then you hit it, and then it's fantastic.
No doubt. Want to hear a little bit from Brian Thomas Jr. as we continue along. Hayes Carline caught up with him after practice yesterday. We still got to take a look around the league. Has there been any news in the league
Just
in the last day or so? We'll take a look at that. And I have a big question for Tommy Mack as we get ready for the 2025 season as well. We'll kick all those things around as we continue along on this Friday edition of Jaguars Today here on 1010 XL.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. He's our Big Mac.
Woo! It's Smash Mouth football, baby!
Tom McManus brings his big opinions to Jaguars Today.
Every Friday morning at 10 a.m. on 1010 XL.
Protected by Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. Call 904-722-1111.
Instant Keys saves the day if you've lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call Instant Keys, 722-1111.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
Jags fans, a new Everbank Performance account could be your ticket to London this October. The Everbank London Getaway Experience. One lucky winner and a guest get round-trip airfare, hotel accommodations, and tickets to see the Jags play in London. Everbank.com/London for official rules. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of the United States and D.C. 18 and older. Everbank London Getaway Sweeps entry period 7/28/25 to 9/5/25. Enter and get official rules and details at everbank.com/London.
Rick Ballou
new for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentists and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental with light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, 2 locations in Jacksonville.
Chris Doering brings insider takes and Gator Gold to the drill. We're back. The former Gator joins Dan and Jeff Tuesday mornings at 7:20 on 1010XL. Protected by the personal injury attorneys of Farah and Farah.
This football season, Hurricane Grill and Wings is your game day getaway. Catch every play with the perfect drink in hand. Handcrafted cocktails like the Millionaire Margarita, Spicy Guavarita, Old Fashioned, or the Red Bullerita. Beer more your style to watch the games? Enjoy an ice cold Bud Light. Game day cocktails and Bud Light specials are here all season long at Hurricane Grill and Wings. Find a restaurant near you at hurricanewings.com.
Home is where your story begins. And at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, we're here to make it the healthiest, most comfortable place it could be. Whether it's fresh, clean air, dependable plumbing, or reliable power, we take care of it all. From routine maintenance to state-of-the-art solutions, Donovan keeps your home running smoothly. Because at Donovan, we believe your home isn't just where you live, it's where your health meets comfort. Call Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing at 904-270-COOL or visit us online. Let's make your home healthier, safer, and better together.
Hi, I'm John Haney from Clearwater Gutters and Drainage. After heavy rains, the problems are obvious. Mulch blown out of your beds, water standing around your foundation, and that fancy new crater back behind your bushes. Let Clearwater Seamless Gutters help you solve the problem spots.
Clearwater Seamless Gutters. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at gutters.
And drainage, too. Find out more at clearwaterjacks.com.
All right, Prosser here, and I've been telling you about Chad and Sandy. They make the promise. Let me show you some of the proof. This is Nicoletta and Daniel in Panther Creek. We don't recommend this, but we bought our new house before we sold our old one. Then worst case scenario happened. Our old home failed to sell in a year with another realtor. Finally, we got smart. We hired Chad and Sandy, and they sold it in 10 days above asking price. These are the results you're getting with Chad and Sandy at chadandsandy.com. Area homes are selling, but you got to have the right people on your side. Maybe you want max price. Doesn't matter if you're buying or selling. Maybe you just want to sell right now. Well, fast, easy, and stress-free, that's what Chad and Sandy bring to you. They have this guarantee. They guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. They're the local real estate experts you can trust for all of your real estate needs. Go to chadandsandy.com today. That's chadandsandy.com, or call that help hotline, 904-414-6200.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Mac in the Middle, Tom McManus. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Superior products, exceptional service. On 1010XL.
Want to hear a little bit from the player that most considered to be the best player in town right now, and that would be Brian Thomas Jr. for the football team, and we will here in just a moment. But before we get to that, Dylan, let's take a look around the rest of the National Football League.
Now, gems around the NFL. Brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jack's Beach.
The Dallas Cowboys are trading Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers for 2 first-round picks and defensive tackle Kenny Clark. The Packers and Parsons have already agreed to a 4-year, $188 million contract with $120 million fully guaranteed. Tennessee head coach Brian Callahan said that Titans right tackle J.C. Latham wouldn't practice yesterday due to soreness, but said that he's not concerned about it going forward. Miami head coach Mike McDaniel said yesterday that running back Jalen Wright underwent a minor procedure. He's expected to miss now a couple of weeks. Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill was held to light work yesterday as he continues to work through an oblique injury, but he is expected to be good to go for week 1 there for the Dolphins. Atlanta wide receiver Darnell Mooney was back, able to return to practice for the first time yesterday since early in camp as he works back from a shoulder injury. Denver head coach Sean Payton said yesterday that wide receiver Marvin Mims missed practice on Thursday, but that he will be back on the field Monday for the team. Arizona has placed defensive lineman Justin Jones on injured reserve, and the LA Chargers have placed defensive back Eric Rogers on IR as well. Now, let's hear a little bit about and from Brian Thomas Jr., who caught up with Hayes Carline yesterday. But before we hear from BT, as he's going by now.
That's right.
They've dropped the J.
Yeah.
There with Brian Thomas, so just BT. Trevor Lawrence was talked about the steps with the on-field relationship. We've talked a lot about that early in the season last year. I know fans keep pointing out that he really blew up after Trevor left. I don't think that was about the relationship between those guys. That felt more about the team didn't know what they had. And the coaches talked about it. Like, they just didn't feature him until well after Trevor was hurt for some unknown reason.
Which is crazy because he was good in camp.
Right, in the offense last year. But it just didn't happen until that. That's how I feel about the situation, at least. But Trevor was asked about the steps that he's taken in the on-field relationship with Brian Thomas Jr.
It's just a testament to the amount of work that he's been putting in. And out here on the practice field, and you guys seen every practice, so you guys have a good perspective on just the whole thing. It's not every day is going to be clean and perfect, and just because whether it's me, BT, Travis, group up front, tight ends, whatever it is, there's going to be days where you have stuff you got to figure out, and there's a new system, there's new plays you're running, and so there's been some stuff that me and BT have kind of had to iron out, but just through reps, whether that's after practice, in the film room, talking about every single look, I really think we've taken some huge steps because we tried to do this last year, and obviously it was a different system. I get hurt, so we didn't get a full year, and then now it's a new system and trying to build that chemistry and the rapport again, and it's been awesome. I like where we're at right now, but it's about the whole season getting better. It's not about just where you're at week one. We got a long year.
Well, I know week one last year, that throw that he made against Miami in the back of the end zone. Holy cow.
Yeah, phenomenal placement of that football in, just a great putting it out in front of Brian Thomas in the back of that end zone. That was fantastic. Look, they got to have good communication. And I think if you were at camp, you saw there were too many drops from Brian Thomas. You're like, man, what's going on, Brian? He dropped too many balls. But that's where that communication comes in. Like, hey, man, this is how the ball's going to come in. Or Brian could be like, hey, this is how I'd rather have it come in. And you get that open communication. And you saw what happened when the lights came on down in Miami, right, during the practice. So we were never worried about Brian Thomas. I mean, we might raise an eyebrow like, that's kind of odd. He's really dropping more passes than you're used to seeing. But at the end of the day, he's going to show up on game day, and he's going to perform. And he's a fantastic wide receiver in the National Football League. And I think he's only going to get better. And I don't know why they didn't hook up earlier last year. I have no idea. But who cares? Because it's a whole new system and a whole new offense and a whole new outlook. So, and with a quarterback that's really worked on his craft this offseason, you have to say that you could tell Trevor put in the work. You notice a little bit different of him, and as far as his confidence, his command, how comfortable he is, look, and where he's been putting the football, most importantly, because that is probably the number one job, where you put that thing and make sure your guy has the best chance to make a catch and make a play after the catch.
Let's hear a little bit from Brian Thomas Jr. Hayes Carline caught up with him after practice yesterday and first asked him what he was, Brian Thomas is one of these guys that's been staying after practice. It's been a common occurrence with him and working on different things. But Hayes asked him yesterday what he's been working on after practice.
Just getting a couple extra catches in. I mean, you can't never get too many catches. Just being focused and locking in on catching the ball. And just running a couple extra routes for Trev, just to make sure we got our timing down and ready. Our chemistry is good, ready to go for the season.
Yeah, I'd be stunned if this year he's not featured early and often for the football team.
No, I mean, he's your lead guy right now. He is. He's your ex, and deservedly so. And, of course, you got plenty of other weapons. I tell you, one chemistry that took off right away was De'Ami Brown and Trevor. They seem to, connect pretty good during camp. Travis, of course, made some plays as well. It'll be interesting to see how they include him in the offensive game plan and strategy starting next week. But I expect Brian Thomas to have another big year. I mean, he had a monster year last year. He's capable of doing back-to-back-to-back those kind of years. And, I think him and Trevor will hook up early and often.
Yeah, I've never bought it when players say that they don't hear the noise. I know they hear the noise. Right. And so for a guy like Brian Thomas Jr., you know, I don't know that he's locked in on what some fans have been saying here for the last couple weeks, the concern about the drops, these different things that have been going on. I haven't expressed concern about it. As you said, Tommy, I'm not worried about it with Brian Thomas Jr., but there's been noise in the system in that regard here for the last several weeks. And Hayes asked Brian Thomas Jr., not specifically about that necessarily yesterday, but just about how happy he is with his camp performance to this point.
Yeah, like I said, I wanted to come out here and keep improving each and every day, and I feel like I did that. Started off kind of slow, but like I said, just come out here and keep improving each and every day, and that was my biggest goal, and I feel like I did that.
Yeah, I do think you saw all the Miami reporters who weren't aware of probably any of the stories that have been, you know, circulating in people's heads, you know, for those couple of weeks with Brian Thomas Jr. in camp, and all they're seeing him do is torch him. Right? Like Brian Thomas just goes out there and dominates Miami, and they're like, man, this guy is an absolute stud. That's all they see.
Yeah.
Right? And we talked about it last year was the same kind of thing. It was kind of a slow start to camp.
Yeah.
And then they got into an inter-squad thing, and it's like, whoa.
Right.
You know, Tampa Bay got to see the real deal with Brian Thomas Jr. There is something about the lights coming on for that guy.
Yeah.
He lights up.
Well, listen, first of all, the noise. A lot of fans, it's all good, but it's just the way it is. Like, fans will see, oh, Brian's dropping the ball in practice. And they're not even at practice, but they read it from somebody. Yeah. And then it just spreads like wildfire. Next thing you know, the city's talking about Brian Thomas dropping balls in practice. So he shouldn't listen to that noise, because a lot of that's just, they weren't there. They didn't see it. They don't know exactly, you know, how it went down.
It's all noise with no signal.
Exactly. And look, at the end of the day, all that matters is game day. All that matters is Sunday. As long as you're a gamer on Sunday, whatever, you know, all those drops don't matter. And then, by the way, they had plenty of catches, too. You know what I mean? It wasn't like he wasn't making any plays at all. They were making plenty of plays. But look, they've got it worked out, it seems. And we're going to find out next week. I'm really looking forward to seeing the game plan. You know, I thought we were going to run the ball a little bit more. I think we will. You know, listen, Carolina, their defense. Now, granted, they get Derek Brown back. Remember, he got hurt in the first game last year. Yeah. Tore his knee. He's a pretty big defensive tackle, good player. But overall, their defense wasn't very good, Tone. I mean, 30 points a game roughly, 5.2 yards a carry, 7.6 somewhere on that yards per pass. You know what I mean?
They played better for the last month and a half of the season last year. They did. Right? Yeah. And so if you believe in that late season momentum carrying over, we'll put that to the test.
That's right.
You know, week 1 against Carolina. Let's hear one more from Brian Thomas Jr., who caught up with Hayes Carlyon, who asked him about what he likes about Coach Cohen's scheme.
Just being able to move around a little bit more, being able to hopefully do more routes, play inside, outside, so the defense can't just scheme you up because you're playing just outside and stuff like that. So just being able to do a little bit more and having Travis and Diami, the backs, tight ends, we got everybody. Just having everybody out there and just defense just not being able to lock in on one person. So I would say that's probably the biggest thing.
Yeah, it'll stick in your head when the coach takes over the job and says, I see a wide receiver that can catch screens. He can go deep. Like he talked about how all the different ways that they can use him in the offense. He's already imagined it, and now we'll see it put into
let me throw this little formation at you if you can think about it. You throw Brian Thomas Jr. in the slot. Outside of him is Travis Hunter, and on the other side of the formation is Diami Brown. You got 3 corners that can cover those guys? I hope so. Mm-hmm. I don't know if a nickel's going to do it. You know what I mean? True corners that can really cover. And if who are you doubling on the side of Hunter and Brian Thomas? You know, you can't double them both.
Yeah.
Well, you can, or you're going to leave everybody else one-on-one and probably wide open.
You imagine that with Strange on the field, who's obviously a weapon in the pass game, and when the
out of the bag,
when they have those 5 options on the field, and even if you were to replace Diami Brown, say, with Parker Washington, right? Like they're in pretty good shape as far as their pass catching options, it would appear, going into the season. We'll see how all of it's going to work together. Let's get out to the phone lines real quick for the first time here this morning. He calls us every Friday because we got Tommy Mack in.
That's right.
I think he's getting ready for the draft. I'm not sure if y'all are Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday.
Oh, I hope I didn't. I thought I missed it.
No, next week.
Oh, it's next week.
These are all next week. But Fan Cam joining us on the line. What's going on, Commissioner?
Oh boy, you missed it, Tom.
I hope you picked a good team there, GM.
We got a doozy, baby. We got a doozy. Hey guys, good morning. I just wanted to check in and see if Tommy was geeked for Tuesday. We got some Guinness and some grilled tuna ready to rock. So hopefully we'll get the team that'll take us back to the title, Tommy.
All right. What time we talking? 7?
6 o'clock draft, so we'll start tapping the Guinness a few minutes before
I gotta
that.
tell you, Fan Cam, it sounds like Tommy's a hard sell to participate in fantasy football. You just got to promise some beer and food.
And it's right around the corner, too, which is nice, too. All right, I'm in. Publicly, privately, nice. I'm in. I'll be there.
All righty. Well, boy, was it amazing foreshadowing of the coaching incompetence that was to follow when BT put up basically accounted for 2 touchdowns in the opener in Miami, and he doesn't get a single target in the second half. I still don't know that I've ever seen anything quite like it in 60 years of watching football. Just unbelievable. So I'm excited. Let me add a D to your question of the day and say Brian Thomas breaks a single season yardage record.
Ooh.
And then I'm going to go ahead and add an E and say all of the above, and Fan Cam's going all of the above on that baby today. We're going to have a great season. You guys ready?
Totally ready.
Yep.
Me and Tony are going to do some headbutts this next break, and we're going to get really ready.
Oh, my. I'll be watching on YouTube. Duval on 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Duval!
There we go, Fan Cam. As always on a Friday, I'm sure we'll
Shotgun
hear from
a beer
him
for
again.
me, Fan.
Yeah,
Shotgun a
next
beer.
week as well. You can add a D if you want to our question of the day. I got a question for Tommy Mack about the upcoming season that we'll get to before we get to the end of the show. This morning, our Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day this morning, simply asking you which of these predictions regarding the Jags this season is most likely to occur. Hines, Allen, and Walker combined for 28 sacks. Lawrence sets the new single-season passing record, or they win the AFC South. We'll kick that around as well as we continue along. It's Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL.
Homeowners, storms don't wait, so why should you? Protect your home and your wallet with Universal Roof and Contracting. Save up to 20% on roof replacements and repairs now through August 31st. Financing is available with payments as low as $115. Call 855-ROOF-HELP for your free inspection. Universal Roof and Contracting, protecting your home, building your trust. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com. This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville. I always brag on what you guys have on-road and off-road. But Greg, tell everybody about what's happening on the water, because you got loads of opportunity.
We do. We've got lots of boats in stock. We got the Honda 19-foot Fisher Runabout. We've got the Coach pontoons, all of them with that legendary Honda motor and legendary Honda reliability, which you always want when you're out on the water.
You could be cruising along the Intercoastal or out on the ocean, but check it out. Facebook page ready for all of you to see, Cycles of Jacksonville, or their showroom on Atlantic near Regency. Here's Linda Beaver.
Hey, school's in session, and here's today's lesson. We have hundreds of certified vehicles to choose from, starting as low as $89.99. Plus, they come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile peace of mind warranty and free oil changes. That means you and your soon-to-be drivers will be protected. Plus, every purchase allows us to fund teachers' projects for the entire school year. Your next assignment, get to Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine, Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville, or Beaver Mitsubishi in St. Augustine. We're here to wow you and our teachers.
Jaguars football is officially back. Be there as number 2 overall draft pick Travis Hunter, quarterback Trevor Lawrence, and new head coach Liam Cohen take the field for the first time during the 2025 NFL regular season. Secure your seats for when the Jaguars take on the Panthers September 7th by going to jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We'll see you at the bank.
Football is a game of inches, and at Front Runners Tap House, every inch counts. Catch every big play on their massive 396-inch giant television. The ultimate game day experience is waiting for you at Front Runners Tap House inside the Community First Igloo.
I'm Frank Franzi, and I just got back from the farm at Okefenokee. Man, it's incredible. Just an hour north of Jacksonville and Folkestone. I was so impressed. It's about connecting with nature, with food, with community. And now you can own your very own handcrafted cabin tucked into a 1,000-acre regenerative farm. Everything you need is there. You'll hardly need to go grocery shopping. Learn more about all of it at okefarm.com. That's OKEfarm.com, the farm at Okefenokee.
Want your son or daughter to enjoy sports year-round? Then log on to I-9 Sports with fall and winter registration open right now, including girls volleyball at Duval Charter Bay Meadows, plus plenty of other spots and sports on the First Coast. I9sports.com. Enter 1010 for a discount.
Hey, it's Vegas time. This is former Jags linebacker Tom McManus from Helmets and Heels, and we want you to come and join us once again in Las Vegas for the Raiders game weekend. If you've not been to the Circus Stadium Swim, you're missing out on 6 temperature-controlled pools and a massive 143-foot screen with all the current sports betting action. Plus, all you Jaguar fans are invited to huddle up with Helmets and Heels at the Overhang Bar with our pregame tailgates on Friday with drink specials and special giveaways.
Lauren Brooks here. Taylor Dahl, Tom McManus, and myself will be broadcasting Helmets and Heels live on air from a Stadium Swim cabana on Friday, October 31st. Then hosting the wildly popular Jacksonville Huddle Up Friday evening at the Overhang Bar inside Circa. If you were there last year, you know you won't want to miss it. If you've already booked your flight to Vegas for the big game and are still searching for accommodations, stay where we're staying at Circa Resort and Casino from October 30th to November 3rd.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Tom McManus.
Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Superior products, exceptional service on 1010XL.
Tony Smith, Tom McManus, Dylan Denmark here with you. I do have a question that I want to ask Tommy. It's not some revolutionary question.
I can handle it, is what you're saying? It's Friday, Tone.
I think we can all handle this kind of question.
Okay,
but I do
good.
want to ask it because we're on the brink of the season now. We've gone through the offseason. We've gone through camp. We've gone through preseason. And we will get your reaction to it. And you know what? I'm going to make it today's 10-10 take.
10-10 take.
Now, Mike Dempsey's 10-10 take is serviced by Ideal Conditions Heating and Air, your go-to local HVAC company, veteran owned and operated.
And we can make it a two-parter because you can go on the positive or negative end of this question.
Okay.
So I'll ask it this way. What are you most confident in with the Jacksonville Jaguars going into the 2025 season?
Yep.
And what are you most concerned about for the team going into the season as they kick off against the Panthers a week from Sunday?
D-line, I'm confident. O-line, I'm not confident for the most part.
Okay.
But that could change. Well, the O-line's more of I don't know. You know what I mean? I like to see him. I want them all to do great. I want us to have a really good O-line. I don't think we have to have the best, but I'd like to see an upgrade in our offensive line. I think a lot of that will be attitude. Listen, that's one thing. You know, it's kind of funny with Liam Cohen. You know, when he first got here, and I don't care how he pronounced it, but, you know, it was just kind of like, wow, this guy's kind of, you know, a little different. But I know this. He loves physical football. I mean, he does. He likes tough people. He likes when there's a little scrappiness to his team. You know what I mean? And I like it, too. And it's something we've missed in this town with our team for a little while now. Doug Peterson, whatever. They were just more finesse. There was a blueprint to smash us in the face and run on us, and we couldn't stop you. And that happened for a while. But that's changing. I really believe that's changing. So I do think the O-line, I think they'll be better run blocking, but they could be okay pass blocking. Just got to see it. Mm-hmm. You know, listen, practice is practice. Games are games. You're willing to forget everything you've seen in camp and start over week one and be like, all right, let's go. Let's see how you guys do. And hopefully they come out on top, and hopefully they all play well. Defensively, I just think with Eric Armstead moving inside, our two stud defensive end bookends, I'm confident they're going to find a number 4, and I think it'll rotate, and I think Saunders will be good. I still think Agba can become a challenge. I'd like to see Lloyd not as a defensive tackle, but somehow get in there and get some pressure going on the inside. It was funny. I was talking to Mark Duffner last night. I know you guys are hearing more and more from him. He was on the horse's mouth, and we talked about that bat package. And he's like, oh, yeah, I totally remember the bat. We had a guy that was the bat. We had Joel Schmingy, and we both agreed that Devin Lloyd could be that kind of player. The bat was basically a rusher that there was 3 D linemen, and the bat was the 4th, and he would stand up and either go to the left end, the nose, or the right end and work a game with whoever was trying to block him. You know, chip, then they both go up the field. Very effective. I think Devin Lloyd could be that. But I think overall, Tony, I'm confident in that D-line. And we all know this. Whatever skill positions you have, it's not going to matter if you don't have the lines. You got to have at least decent offensive and defensive lines.
We know the team in some of these areas was so miserable last year that they almost can't help but improve. Right?
Okay.
Like offensive line, I think defensive line depth especially was one of those things where they were just so miserably bad in that area that they just almost can't help but get better. Secondary, they were so miserably bad last year that you can't help but feel better about this group than the group that they had, especially towards the end of the season last year, right? So it's kind of a tricky question in some ways because you are comparing it to what you could call maybe worse than franchise history, in some of these areas last year. So I do think they're not going to be where they were in the secondary last year, but how improved do I think they are? I know for me, I've been saying for a few weeks that the thing about this team for 2025 that has me the most excited is the level of comfort I have with Liam Cohen as a play caller.
Okay.
Right? Like the way he calls an offense gets me excited about what this football team could potentially be in 2025 because I think he gives them kind of week to week a chance. And when something's not working, he'll find the thing that is working that day. Like I have pretty big confidence that he's that type of guy for him potentially. Like if they're running the ball that day, he'll run. If they're passing the ball effectively that day, he'll pass. And if they get into a day where it's like, well, we have to pass it 3 yards every time, then he will. I think he'll take advantage of what's going to be available to him as a play caller. That, more than anything else, has got me excited about the upcoming season for the team.
Well, listen, I think for Liam's offense to really hum, running game and screen game got to be on point.
No doubt.
And let me tell you something. I'm not talking bubble screens, although you'll see that, especially with Travis Hunter, and I would try that on occasion too, for sure. But those running back screens, if you're in a zone defense, it's really hard to defend the screen. Now, if you sniff it out right away, a little bit different. If you got the back and you read screen, just go get the back. Obviously you got to avoid the blockers, but if you hit it quick enough, they'll never get to you, and you're just up on the back, and it blows the play dead. But when you're in zone, you got to drop back into your hook or your curl route, and then they throw the screen. You're like, here comes 3 mammoth human beings, and there's some little guy behind him. I'm trying to find. He's got to be back there somewhere. And then you're just like, all right, this is where men become men because you got to take one of those guys on, at least to sacrifice to take him out of the picture, let the cavalry come and make
Pick
a play.
a tunnel and 2 are left open.
Yeah. Right. No, right. So it can be very, very effective. If you catch that defense off guard, those running back screens can be insanely effective. But I think it starts with that running game. You know what I mean? Not that Trevor can't, look, I always feel like coordinators on offense, you're going to use the pass to set up the run. If that doesn't work, you're going to use the run to set up the pass. You keep switching it until you find what really works. We how many years ago was it first down up the gut, second down up the gut, third down, let's throw the ball. Then you're like, everybody knows what's happening. How about we throw the ball on first down? I don't know. I always think throwing the ball on first down keeps that defense. Now, you can't do it every time, but it keeps them honest. You know what I mean? Like when you can effectively have a pass play on first down.
Throwing the ball when you have the choice to throw or pass on first down.
Yeah.
Like you'll get in game situations late where you're, trying to milk the clock, protect
right, 4 minute, right.
Right, like that kind of thing. But I think early on in games where you're allowed to be unpredictable, be a little bit unpredictable.
Look, they're going to load the box if you run the ball. You pass the ball, they unload the box. That's how it works. The safety is either going to stay back or the safety is going to come up or the nickel's going to enter the box arena, whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? And if you're effective running the ball, guess what they do? They load the box. And you hit them with a what? Play action down the field. And then that safety's like, oh, beep. Now what do I do? They're going to get me in the run. They're going to get me in the pass. Now I'm really off balance. So it can be very effective. I think, look, it's got to be shown because let's be honest. When Doug got here, we all felt great that first year going in. Super Bowl
reason
coach,
not to.
The offense is going to be great. And it was. They had a great year. overall, right?
Yeah.
9-8, finished great. Trevor had a great year. The running game was great. It all worked out. We know it didn't go well after that.
It's been a miserable season and a half.
Yeah, right. So
It's a long time, though.
What my point was, I was like, look, Liam's smart. You could tell he's cerebral. Doug's a smart guy too, so I don't know. Look, I hope nothing but the best, and I hope it all works out, and I hope it works for more than just a year, right? This is not a year thing. This is a 5 to 10 year thing, and we won a couple championships. That's all we're asking for, Liam.
That's all.
Just a couple in 10 years. 2 out of 10, 1 out of 5, 20%. Let's
We're
go.
not trying to be greedy here. We'll answer the Chad and Sandy real estate. I'll get it out. Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day, where we're asking which of these potential predictions regarding the 2025 Jaguars is most likely to happen. Hines Allen and Walker combined for 28 sacks. Trevor Lawrence sets the new single-season passing record with 44-28, which, by the way, would be about 261 yards a game.
All right.
It's the kind of pace that he would have to be on, or they win the AFC South. We'll give our answer to that as we'll put a bow on this edition of Jaguars Today next here on 1010 XL.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios.
Hey everybody, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods. You know they've got great sandwiches. They've got great subs. In fact, they'll even deliver party subs to your house during football season. Go online, check out the full selection, dandyfoods.com. They can make you just about anything custom ordered. And swing into an area convenience store, especially with this 3-day weekend out there, and maybe bring the cooler with you. If you're heading out to the beach, nothing better than a cooler full of fresh, delicious food from Dandy. Whether that's a full breakfast menu, they've got that. Whether you want a late lunchtime wrap or a gourmet salad, yeah, they've got those things. Protein packs, veggie trays, fruit cups, a little something for everybody. But the classic line of sandwiches and subs is where it all begins. I'm partial to the tuna salad. Go find your own favorite from Dandy. Maybe it's a roast beef sub. Maybe it's a cranberry chicken salad. Maybe it's any number of dozens of items that they serve up. But pack the cooler full because everybody's going to want some. When you're hungry in Duval, do what I do. Go out and make yours a Dandy and do it today.
Josie for Hard Rock Bet, and I know you've been waiting for this. College football is back with massive matchups to kick off the season in style. The only thing better than hearing your favorite school's fight song is the sound of cha-ching. Hard Rock Bet makes it easy to place your bets so you can feel like the big man on campus. Download the Hard Rock Bet app or log on hardrock.bet. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
When storms start to crop up in the Atlantic or Gulf this time of year, having a solid plan to handle anything that sweeps through the First Coast is very important. That's where American Electrical comes in. Ensure your home's safety and comfort with an American Electrical home generator. As the area's leading home generator dealer and installer, American Electrical can offer you easy installation, simple maintenance, and peace of mind. Schedule an assessment by simply calling the team at American Electrical. They'll walk you through the best generator for your home or business. Log on, american-electrical.com.
Jeff Prosser here for Lloyd's Heating and Air. Need a leader for commercial, retail, multifamily, or hospitality projects? Or top-tier residential service? No gimmicks, no mascots, just real expertise and hard work. As your trusted statewide mechanical partner and local family-owned team, Lloyd's is the name Northeast Florida counts on. Visit Lloyd'sHeatingandAir.com. Lloyd's Heating and Air, keeping you comfortable in every season.
Brackish Vodka, the spirit of the sportsman and proud partner of the Jaguars, is now available at the Fresh Market Spirits and Wine. The Fresh Market Spirits and Wine is a new adult beverage store offering spirits, wine, beer, and accessories at A1A North in Ponte Vedra, a first-of-its-kind destination for thoughtfully curated spirits, wine, and beer as only the Fresh Market can. And now, you can get Brackish Vodka at the Fresh Market. Brackish Vodka, for whatever your sport is. Proud partner of the Jaguars.
Hello, Jacksonville. This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. At Orthopedic Specialists of Jacksonville, we know not every injury happens on Sundays. Sometimes it's flag football, weekend yard work, or just playing with your kids. That's why we built a team of fellowship-trained orthopedic surgeons, experts in everything from knees and shoulders to spine and sports injuries. Whether you're chasing championships or chasing your dog, we've got you. Learn more at osjax.com. That's osjax.com.
Hey, it's Frank Frangie. Look, when it comes to glass needs around the home, there's one name I trust, Lee & Kate's. It's local, family-owned, and they've been part of our community since 1926. They've taken great care of me over the years, and I know they'll do the same for you. Visit leeandkatesglass.com.
With Lee & Kate's Glass, you're gonna see a big difference.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air, Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since '87.
Well, the whole offseason is cooled down now. It's done. We are 1 week away from keys to victory for the Jaguars against the Carolina Panthers. We'll have that for you next Friday when we have you back in, Tommy Mack.
Yeah, man.
We'll have our keys. We'll have you we'll rank how you think the games are going to go.
That's right.
In the NFL next week.
Can't wait.
It'll only be the 14 games because we'll have the Thursday and Friday night. Well, I guess it'll be 15.
Well, yeah, we'll get
Friday night won't have played yet.
Yeah.
By the time we're on the air next week. So that'll be fun. The NFL season is here and upon us. The Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day today asking which of these predictions regarding the 2025 Jags is most likely to happen. Your options in the poll. Josh Hines-Allen and Trayvon Walker combined for 28 or more sacks. Trevor Lawrence with 44-29 passing. That would be the franchise single-season record, breaking Blake Bortles' record. And the team wins the AFC South. How would you vote, Tommy?
I'm going team wins AFC South. I put money on in Vegas on it, so I'm going with that. But I think the AFC South's up for grabs. I really do. I wouldn't count out Indy just yet. I know Daniel Jones, nobody's excited. I think their defense is pretty good. They got a good running game. You never know with that. But I think it's going to come down to Houston. And it's going to come down to our team right here in Jacksonville who can win that AFC South. I give us just as good a chance as anybody else. But it won't be easy, as we all know. It's funny, we always look at schedules. We're like, win, loss. And then the season goes on. You're like, well, wait a minute. That's not as easy a win as I thought. I'm going to change that to a
teams get better and worse.
Right, exactly. So, but I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I think our team is definitely going to be better next year. My minimum, my floor, double the wins. Get 8. You can double the wins. The ones you lost, you could have easily won. The way you lost last year, if you didn't have those mistakes, you would have won 4 more games. You know what I mean? So I think doubling the wins can be my floor, and winning the AFC South is my ceiling.
Yeah, I think that kind of I join you, and my vote would be for win the AFC South, and there are reasons for it. Like, I think averaging 261 yards passing a game is not easy on the NFL, which is what Trevor would have to do. Yeah. So I think that's unlikely, not impossible, but unlikely in my mind. And I think the Josh Hines-Allen and Walker thing, this is something we've talked about before. The quarterback hits translating to sacks, right? Yeah. For Walker to be a guy that you think is going to be around a 14, 15 sack guy, that means that you think he's going to be a 28 to 30 quarterback hit guy. Yep. He's been about half that.
Right.
In his career to this point. He's even last year when he had 10.5 sacks, he was a 15 quarterback hit guy.
Right.
Like, he was in some ways a little bit lucky, in that regard for that stat. The stat is the stat. 10.5 sacks is 10.5 sacks.
That's right.
You don't take that away from him, but I think for those guys to get to 28, you're thinking they're combining for something around 60 quarterback hits. I don't think it's impossible. I think it would be the second most likely of those things to happen, given we've seen Hines-Allen have that kind of year before. Like, if he has a year where he's a 35 quarterback hit guy, I'm like,
right.
I can see him doing that kind of thing because I've seen him do it before. But it would mean that Walker would have to be a 25 quarterback hit guy, which I just haven't seen that from him yet. Not that I don't think it's in him.
Yeah.
Just haven't seen it from him yet. So I'm with you. I would vote win the AFC South as the most likely for me.
Good year.
Yeah, it would be a pretty awesome year. Before we put a bow for real here on this episode of Jaguars Today, let's say hello to XL Primetime.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
Matt Hayes has time for us despite the opening weekend of college football.
So, not in college football, NFL. I want to get your guys' thoughts on this because we're bandering around there in the pregame meeting.
I heard you guys yelling back there. Jeez. Friday, man.
So Jerry Jones says he'll use 2 firsts if he has to trade for a player.
Will he?
and it's probably going to be Hendrickson, right?
Yeah.
That's probably the best bet. Would you guys take 2 1s for Josh Hines Allen to get out of that contract? Because you're going to have to pay Trayvon.
If I'm Dallas, you mean if you're the Jags?
Jags.
Yeah, if they offered 2 1s for Josh
Hines Allen, would you do it?
That's a great question.
You get out of that contract, you're going to have to pay Trayvon next year.
Yeah, but he's now no longer the highest. I mean, he's like,
still a hefty contract.
No, I know.
I probably would.
Would?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would too.
I think I probably would. I don't know that necessarily that's the player that Dallas will come knocking about, but I probably would.
If you do that, though, in my opinion, then the expectations of the season should be like you better lower your expectations, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to take him out, then okay.
But you don't even have a first next year, so you'd be back in the first round.
Right.
Yeah. Like, it's like you already have 10 picks in next year's draft right now, so you'd add an 11th, and it's a first-round pick. Like, that'd be...
Plus, the Cowboys could go belly up. You never know.
Would he warrant 2, though? I mean, I don't see him as a Micah Parsons. He's a very good player, but he's not Micah Parsons.
Do you think Hendrickson warrants 2?
Probably
no.
not.
No?
Right now?
The 1 year only being what's left, and they could do what they want to with an extension is what would make it interesting with Henderson.
Right.
Right, because they have some flexibility. And what they're doing, the contract's already negotiated for Josh Hines Allen. Right, like they know what they're trading for.
Right.
You know?
Plus, not only that, you got a desperate team. So whether he's worth 2 or not, they're a desperate team.
Yeah. No, if it was offered, I'd probably do it. As much as I would hate it, I love Josh.
Well, you got to replace Parsons somehow. I mean, you're not going to fill the void, but you got to at least try to fill it somehow.
Yeah. That's certainly something I'm assuming that's going to be on the show today.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it
as we get into it. So we'll be listening for XL Primetime. Appreciate it, man.
Good question, man.
As we get into it, it is the opening weekend of college football across the nations. The Commodores have Charleston Southern tomorrow night at 7. What's BC got this weekend?
Fordham at home. They got Fordham. Yeah, kind of a warm-up game, I guess. But you never know, man. You never know.
We know we got the Gators tomorrow right here. We carry the Gators all season long here.
Even that game we're going to air?
Even that game here on 1010.
It's cool they're playing a high school team to warm up. Good for them.
We know, Dylan, you won't be at the Baldwin game tonight against Palatka. Whatever we call them now. Palataka. But you will be on the Friday Night Lights tonight with Hacker, am I correct?
Yeah, about 9:30-ish, whenever Bowles and Trinity goes final, we'll be here.
I will be sending the final after Bowles and Trinity back here to the station, as I will be out there. Kickoff at 7 o'clock tonight on 1010 a.m. So join me if you would like. That'll do it for us. For Dylan Denmark, for Tom McManus, for an on assignment, Mike Dempsey, I'm Tony Smith. Celebrate the beginning of college football season however you choose, and have a healthy, happy Labor Day weekend.